What's up guys, welcome to another tier list video, this time with the Delphox release. Of course my last tier list wasn't too long ago, so instead I decided to try something new. You can see I have a lot more tiers, and let me know what you think about this. So just having many more different opinions on like where I can place Pokemon in between. You know, I have an A+, a B+, and just in general making Pokemon a bit more spread out through my tier list. So let me know what you think about this and if you think it's better. So like already for the first Pokemon, I think it's quite useful. So Absol, right? Absol S tier. People always like, Chris, don't put Absol in S tier. And I think A+ tier fits this Pokemon quite well for lane as well. Again, we start with the lane tier list, then we go to a jungle tier list. So for now, this is for laning. I always thought that Absol is better than those A Pokemon in lane, but you know, I did have a hard time. I was like, I'm not sure if I should put it into S tier or not, right? I wasn't always sure. I think S+ tier is something that fit Absol for now, even though I think it's a very good Pokemon. It does have obvious weaknesses, right? So it's obviously like, you know, S tier means this Pokemon is absolutely insane. I mean, for solo queue, it's one of the best Pokemons for playing in lane as well. But I mean, yeah, I think A+ will probably fit it a bit better than, you know, just putting it straight into S tier. Especially because I think I kind of have to think about like how people perform on these Pokemon as well, and that should also maybe go into my rating a tiny bit. Next up, we have Blastoise. I think still solid A tier Pokemon, doesn't matter if you play Surf, Hydro Pump or Water Spout, Rapid Spin. Still very strong, I don't think it's like necessarily up here anymore, but still very, very solid pick. You can totally play with two different builds, so you can also be more flexible if you want to. Play it either more as a tank or more as a damage dealer. Might still see some Blastoise in the next tournaments, but yeah, in general I think he has for sure dropped off a tiny bit. Blissey is beyond broken right now, S+ Pokemon. I think Blissey deserves to be in the S+. If there's one Pokemon I hate playing against, it's Blissey. It just denies so many things. If the enemies also have like pre-made Sudoku, Triple Q, it's always against Blissey. They always just Unite move their carry, and it's so hard to win games against anyone who's like pre-mating with the Blissey. So yeah, absolutely insanely strong Pokemon. Next up we have Charizard for laning phase. I mean, absolutely hate laning with Charizards. But I think maybe it's B tier is fine, right? Like, if you play Charizard a bit different, it can totally work. You just have to adjust your playstyle a bit. Obviously, you can't last hit, so maybe if you go for like some backdoor A-Poms or backdoor Dinos, it can totally work. But it's just nothing too amazing, right? I say most necessarily recommended. It does work if you play like maybe in premates. It can work quite well if you have like a strong lane partner. It can work out for sure. So in general, I mean, Charizard is a pretty strong Pokemon, so if you get over that hurdle over early game, it can for sure still be something considered. Now Cinderace again, I know last time I was like, oh, Cinderace in lane can work as well, but I do think it's still much worse than Charizard, because Charizard at least does damage. Like Charizard early game doesn't have a surprising amount of damage compared to like something like Cinderace, which is absolutely nothing. Of course, you can also try to be cheesy a bit, but I don't like seeing this Pokemon in my games. Cramorant. I'm still the biggest fan of lane Cramorant. I think jungle Cramorant actually seems quite fine now when he gets a level lead. You know, like Toon showing off his Cramorant. Honestly, it feels quite good if he gets a level lead. I've played it myself as well. Every game I've loved damage, but in laning phase, I'm still the biggest fan of it. Of course, his laning phase isn't too bad. It's pretty good. Air Slash is also very good last hitting after level 4 if you get to it. But I still think he needs a bit more to be, you know, considered a very strong laner again, or, you know, in that category. Because I think if you fall just a bit behind, you're just not gonna have enough damage, right? You're just gonna not have enough damage. Crustle, I think Crustle is also a B+ Pokemon. With the Exodus Shell Smash build, I still can't put him too high, because he obviously has obvious weaknesses compared to other Pokemon. But obviously I love Crustle right now. But even then, like my win rate is not that insane on this Pokemon, so I think I can always look at my win rates and kind of be like, yeah, I guess it's just doesn't carry games as hard. But I think Shell Smash Exodus Crustle is something you can totally consider and, you know, play in your games quite easily. It's very fun as well. I absolutely love playing it. Eldegoss. I mean, like, Eldegoss is a Pokemon I think is very good, right? Like, doesn't matter what I think, I'm still gonna put Eldegoss in A tier. Just because Blissey and Hooper are insanely broken doesn't mean that Eldegoss is necessarily a bad Pokemon. The problem is that it fits the same role, right? It fits the same role. So if, let's just say there was a draft system. If there was a draft system and Blissey's banned, then I think Eldegoss would be easily up here, right? If Blissey's banned, Hooper's banned from one team, the other team bans Hooper, Eldegoss instantly is up here again, right? Obviously it's just pressured down by the other supports, but I think people don't understand, like, Eldegoss is still super strong. Leaf Tornado is insane, has a very good Unite move, has very good laning phase. I still think Eldegoss is super top tier as well. I'm gonna put it into A tier. Garchomp. I think Garchomp is like a very weird Pokemon sometimes. I'm gonna put into B+ tier. Not the biggest fan of it, really. Yeah, I mean, no, I do like playing Garchomp, but like it's so weird. Like the Pokemon sometimes feels very good, sometimes very bad, and I really can't get, you know, it's just not it. It's just really not it sometimes. It is just not it. But sometimes it does work out, sometimes it doesn't. I still wish they would give his Unite move. If they give his Unite boost speed back again, I would put it up here. But as long as his Unite move is so slow and people can just run away from it, I'm gonna put it back into B+ tier. Gardevoir. Gardevoir, I think, is also B+ Pokemon. Future Sight is very good if you get to level 5, but I think it just has fallen off. I thought with the Buddy Berry and score sheet changes or something, it would actually get stronger. But honestly, there's so much damage in the game. I think Gardevoir just suffers with how much people are just diving you, right? Like, there's so much Machamp, still Lucario, you don't have Buddy Berry yourself anymore. Your allies don't have Buddy Berry necessarily, so you cannot just die. Serena, like all these all-rounders and speedsters just completely destroy Gardevoir, right? Like Gengar, Lucario, you name it. And then there's long-range Pokemon like Spirit Check, Decidueye, and Solar Beam Venusaur, who just outranged you. So it is quite difficult. Quite difficult, I would say. No, yeah. It's just difficult right now. I'm not the biggest fan of Gardevoir in the current patch. Gengar. I think Gengar can work quite well in lane, honestly, as well. Honestly, now I'm feeling just up the B+ tier. Just everything goes into B+ apparently. I would also think a B+ laner. It's very good in solo queue. You just need to get to level 5, and after you get to level 5, he's actually quite strong. Quite strong after you get to that. And for sure something I feel like you can consider playing. Okay, maybe I just do also C+ tier. What if I do a C+ tier? That could also work, right? Maybe add another row. Let me just do that. Add a row below. Maybe that works better, actually. What if we do a C+ tier? And then think about that as well. I mean, I'm not sure. Let me guys know what think how many tiers I think you should be in my tier list. Like, I'm still experimenting with this now. But I think adding more tiers makes for sure much more sense. Wait, this should be C+. It should be C. And then I'm gonna do this, actually. And then I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I think, honestly, that might be better. Let me know, again, let me know what you think about this. But honestly, this could be quite fine. Alright, next we have Greedent. I'm gonna put him into A+ as well. I used to have him in S tier, but I think A+ fits him a bit more as well. Like, he's not a Pokemon where, like, he's too good for A tier, but he's not also, like, super good for S tier. So I think A+ tier fits him quite well as well. Greninja. I'm just gonna put Greninja in C+ just because he has better last starting than Cinderace. So, yeah. And if you get to level 7 Surf, you can actually do quite a lot of things. You can actually get early lasted as well. Just gonna make it there. But in general, I think he does a bit more early game than Cinderace, but it's still just kinda stinky, you know? Kinda stinky. Lucario, still S tier. Very strong Pokemon, doesn't matter what build you play, if it's E-Speed or Power Punch. Has very high impact on the game. Same for Machamp, one of the best all-rounders, right? It is just, this Pokemon is so strong. He can decide team fight so fast, he has good laning phase, good early, good mid game, good late game. He does it all, right? I mean, he's an all-rounder. He's an all-rounder. Mamoswine. I mean, I just really don't like Mamoswine. I just do think he needs just more, right? I think he's just B. I much prefer playing Cross over Mamoswine. I think Cross does much more than this Pokemon. And I just can't get, you know... He just needs buffs. Like, he's one of the lowest frame rate Pokemon in the game. And that is for a reason. Mr. Mime is hard to rank right now, but I think he's still like a solid A tier Pokemon right now. I think that that Blastoise is a bit gone again as well. I do think he's quite fine and for sure playable. Very strong lane as well. You can snowball lane super hard. He has also good early, good mid game, good late game. He just takes a lot of skill to play, right? That's the main part of Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is one of the most difficult characters in the game. But I think he's a solid A tier Pokemon as well. Ninetales, I think Ninetales puts into the A tier too. I really don't want to put it much higher. I think it just struggles also when it comes to late game fights, but it doesn't matter, it's just a very solid Pokemon overall. Pikachu, I think I'm going to put into the same tier. I don't know, Pikachu's like good and bad at the same time, I always feel like. I really do struggle when I play Pikachu in solo queue. When you play with premates, he's obviously a bit stronger still, but I think AT is fair enough for this Pokemon. Also, again, these are not ranked, right? Like, these are not ranked in their own tier. Okay, so this doesn't mean that Blastoise is better than Pikachu. These are all in the same tier. I'm not gonna, you know, organize them by who I think is even a better Pokemon. I think that's just a bit too much, and I think it's quite hard to do that as well. Slowbro, also I think a solid A-tier Pokemon. Yeah, solid A-tier Pokemon, I would say. Just does a lot of things and is pretty good. Snorlax, B-tier, also needs buffs. Similar to Mamoswine. I think his Unite move just needs a change. Like, it doesn't really fit a defender much. He kind of just he just kind of goes into this mode, stands still, and doesn't really do much instead of, you know, maybe being more useful. So, not a big fan of it. Sylveon, I'm going to put into A+ tier. I think Sylveon is one of the best attackers for solo queue, or for ranked in general, even for laning phase as well. Gets super strong very fast on level 4, and can just roll over games. And yeah, Sylveon is just very good. I think it's my favorite attacker to play in lane, for sure, so... Yeah, I mean, Sylveon is super good. I think it's just even a bit more consistent than Ninetales and Pikachu. But I mean, in general, they're not too far away from each other, right? These are like always, they like kind of do similar things, but these two have more CC. Sylveon does a bit more damage, but pretty solid. Talonflame in lane, I'm gonna put into C+. It's nothing too amazing. Yeah, Talonflame is a bit weak right now, especially in lane as well. Venusaur's a solid A+ Pokemon. I think Pedal Dance and Solar Beam are, you know, very similar to Sylveon power. It does have a bit more potential as well, like it can carry games very hard too, but Solar Beam is very good. Pedal Dance is very good, solid A+ Pokemon. I just don't want to put into S tier, I think that's a bit too much. Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff suffers because of Blissey. Like, Blissey can always go Safeguard as well and completely negate Wigglytuff. So, Wigglytuff is very hard to rank right now, I feel like. I still think the Pokemon is super annoying and very good. But yeah, it's currently lacking a bit something just because of Blissey being meta. So, I think B+. No, actually, I think it's A tier, doesn't matter what. Because when Blissey's not in the game, Wigglytuff is quite fine, right? It's hard to rank. It is hard to rank. Let me know where you would put Wigglytuff in. It's actually quite difficult to rank. Let's put it into... Blissey. I mean, I've also put Elagos here, even though Blissey's a thing, so... And but I think Wigglytuff is still fair. Then Wigglytuff just lost a lot as well from the Buddy Barrier score sheet nurse, right? It was one of the Pokemon. I'm just gonna put into B+ tier. Let's just put Wigglytuff down for here for now. Maybe I'm wrong on this opinion, but yeah. So Aura in lane. Really not a fan either, but it just can work, right? He has pretty good early game as well. The problem is just he needs a lot of levels, so not a fan, but I've seen some good Zero lane players in solo queue as well, and I can for sure make it work. I think it's just better options. Now the Sidgewai might be... It's very hard to rank, because like as soon as you get to level 7, he becomes a very strong Pokemon, right? Very strong Pokemon. But there are certain games where, you know, you play those games and you like, it's 4 or 5 minutes into the game, you look towards your other lane and there's still Rowlet there, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's still Rowlet. I think B tier is fair for him. It's just like there's certain lanes where you get bullied super hard. Like if you play against weak lanes, he's up here, right? But you never know who you lane against. That's the problem, right? Like if you lane against Lucario Machamp, he's down here. And if you lane against, I don't know, Cinderace Gringer yourself, he's up here, right? So like, it always depends on lane matchups. I think Sarina is absolutely strong right now as well. I think I'm gonna put her to A+ tier. Very good Pokemon. Very annoying to play against. Does so much damage. The Unite move is super strong as well. I can always sing out one target. And just does a lot of things. Dragonite C+ tier. Just because I think he has better last hitting than Cinderace. And if he gets to level 8, he can have more impact as well. And he's a Pokemon that can play a bit from behind. Thanks to Hyper Beam just doing percentage damage. If he falls a bit behind, he's still quite fine. Trevenant. I mean, I think Trevenant is currently my favorite defender, together with Trussell, but I mean, Trussell is not, you know, a bit unreliable sometimes. I think A+ tier fits Trevenant quite well. I think he's pretty good of a Pokemon. I like him a lot, and yeah, I think he shows great potential of just being potentially the best defender in the game as well. I mean, I've also Greedent up here. I mean, Blastoise, Slowbro, Greedent, Trevenant, I think are currently the top 4. And they all do a bit of different things, right? Greedent is not really a defender. Blastoise can just be a full-on DPS. Slowbro is just a CC bot, and Trevenant does damage and CC at the same time. So, yeah. Aegislash just went to A+ tier. This Pokemon feels very, very strong right now. And even after the nerfs, it just feels very annoying to play against. He's very hard to kill sometimes. The Sacred Sword Wildcard build is super, super strong. And I like him a lot. Hooper, still S+ tier. Pokemon is absolutely broken. Absolutely bonkers. Duraludon, I'm going to put into A tier actually. I really like Flash Cannon. I think Flash Cannon is quite strong and is something people can for sure consider. And yeah, I do think it's not too bad. Not too bad. Then we have Azumarill. I think Azumarill is going to put into A tier. I'm putting Azumarill into B+ tier. I still think it needs a bit more for laning phase. There's also certain lanes where you just have absolutely no chance in. There's certain lanes where you feel absolutely strong in, but I still think it needs a bit more sometimes. I think early game just needs to be a bit more. I think Bubble and, I mean, it's hard to rank certain some of these Pokemon, because I think they do show a lot of potential, but they still need a bit more, you know, just a tiny bit more. But it doesn't matter what you can play Azumarill, it's a very strong Pokemon, and you can have a lot of success with it as well. Actually, yeah, I'm going to put it into A tier. No, I think Azumarill is quite good. I'm just going to put it into A tier. I've decided. Espeon has currently, I think, the lowest win rate in the game, but I do think this Pokemon isn't too bad either. Like, I have a hard time putting it down here. So, I do think, you know, Psyshock is quite good, the Unite Move is quite good. It just needs a team, and that's quite rare. But if you get to level 4, you can bully lanes very, very hard, right? It's just the Pokemon falls off quite hard. So, as long as they buff their damage, it's going to be somewhere up here. Until then, I think B+ tier is still quite fair for this Pokemon. It also, the win rate is quite low, because I think this Pokemon takes a good amount of skill to play, right? That's why the win rate might suffer as well from it, so yeah. And then we have Delphox. I think Delphox... So I wasn't sure about this Pokemon in the beginning, I was like somewhere here, but I think this Pokemon is S tier. This Pokemon is super, super strong. Higher spin is just ridiculous, the Unite Move is ridiculous. It does have hard time in laning phase, but if you have a good lane partner, it doesn't really matter much. And I've played the lane yesterday as well. All my lane Delphox games went super, super well. I always had the most impact of all my teammates quite easily. And yeah. I promise there's just certain lanes where we will have a hard time. But Delphox is super, super strong. Alright, that's it for the lane tier list. Again, let me know what you think about having more tiers as well. And I'm gonna jump into the jungle tier list. Start here with Absol as well, I guess. I think as well you can put into A+ tier. Yeah, I think that's just fair. I think A+ tier is literally a tier that Absol, I think, fits very well. Blastoise has fallen off a lot when it comes to jungling as well. I don't think it's necessarily, you know, something you want to play anymore. So I'm going to put into B+ tier for now. Laning phase is still fine, but jungling, I think other Pokemon are just a bit stronger again. It was very popular jungling in the last patch, right? Just because it was so strong, but the Unite Move did lose a lot of damage as well. So Blastoise did lose a lot of power. But still, quite good, doesn't matter what. Quite good, doesn't matter what. Charizard, I think solid A tier, jungler. I mean, between A and A+. Maybe actually probably A+, right? Yeah, I'm gonna put him to A+ tier. He's not quite S tier, I would say, because he has counterplay, but doesn't matter what, he's very strong. Jungler. Cinderace, I'm going to put into A+ tier as well. I do think it has lost a decent amount of power compared to other junglers, but it's still quite strong, and for sure something you can pick easily and carry games with, right? Very easy Pokemon as well. It does a lot of things very easily and very strongly. Cramorant, I'm going to actually put Cramorant to A tier for now. I do really like jungling Cramorant. I didn't expect it to be this strong, but I'm actually a big fan of it. The more I play it, the better I find it, and it's quite hilarious how much damage the dive does, you know, with the boost auto attack. If you have a level lead, Garchomp, I'm going to put into B+ tier. I think Dragon Rush, actually no, B tier. Dragon Rush is pretty good for it as well. If you get level 5 Bs pretty much for free, but this Pokemon just lacks, it just lacks something. Gardevoir, B+ tier in jungle as well. I feel like it's just not it right now. I feel like Gardevoir is just suffering, and I do think you can obviously carry games on this Pokemon very hard, but I still think it's quite suffering in the current meta. And I'm not the biggest fan of it. Gengar, I think Gengar's S tier. I think this Pokemon is ridiculous. It's quite hard to play in pre-mates, right? But man, this Pokemon does so much damage, and if you have just get one kill in a team fight, the game might just be over for the enemy team. It is so annoying to play against. Greninja, I don't think there's an S+ Pokemon right now. I think putting something to S+ might not happen. We will see, because I'm going to put Greninja into S tier. And I think that's totally fair. I think he obviously lost some power, and he's still very strong, so S tier is still quite fair. But he did lose a good amount of power. But he's still like one of the top junglers, right? Top 2 or top 3, easily. Dragon Knight, I think Dragon Knight on the current patch is S tier, just because other junglers kind of got nerfed as well. aka Greninja and Cinderace, but I do think Dragon Knight is super strong right now. Hyper Beam is insane secure, and I think he works very good in the current meta. Then we have Lucario jungle, I guess. I mean, it can work, but it's nothing too amazing. But Champ jungle I think is quite fine. I'm gonna put him to A tier. Obviously, I think he's just better as a laner, but as jungling he also totally works. He's super strong of a Pokemon. We have Ninetales jungle. I mean, some people do play it. I know it was very popular in Brazil, but I think on the current patch is quite weak. Talonflame as well has lost a lot of power, and he's just struggling right now. But I do think Fly Flame Charge isn't too bad. For sure has its place, but I'm also going to put him into B+ tier for now. Venusaur jungle, A+ tier. Pedidance, Giga Drain can jungle quite well. I don't think it's enough for S tier, but it's a very strong jungler too. Serena, gonna put into A tier, but I do think we might see more Serena jungle. Like, Serena jungle is also very good. You get to level 6 super easily. There might be some more games where we see Serena splitting jungle with the lanes and just trying to get to level 6 as fast as possible, you know, like a Serena Sylveon team comp. But that's more like, you know, 5 stacking meta. For us, the most important thing, right? Like, these tier lists are for the majority of player base. 99% of the player base are not gonna experience a double jungling meta that competitive does. I mean, of course, we get our jungle stolen by random teammates, but that's not what I mean, you know, not on purpose. You know, we don't have on purpose double jungle thing going on in solo or duo queue or something. So, like, for 99% of the player base, it doesn't really matter too much that, you know, people share their buffs. Because it won't happen in your games. Like, 99, I think the majority of us, you know, are not playing in 5-man groups, right? So there's obviously a huge difference. Zaora still just feels quite weak. I'm gonna put him into B tier. Then we have Duraludon, I think is also still quite fine. Honestly, he has a pretty good win rate. I just checked as well lately. Dragon Pulse does a lot. I also played him. I'm gonna make a video on him as well in the next few days. And does seem quite fine. Honestly, maybe all of these deserve to be an A+ tier. A+ tier is gonna be stacked in this. Because I do think these Pokemon have potential to be S tier, but they're also better than A tier. Like, but I don't want to put them all into S tier. It's just way too much. Then we have, what else do we have? The Decidueye, I think solid A tier. Spirit Check is super strong still, and you can have big impact. It's just the meta can be quite rough for him sometimes, but he's very good, doesn't matter what. He's also a good Delphox counter, which I think Delphox is also S tier in jungling right now. Yeah, this Pokemon is just ridiculous, but it's countered by Gengar and Greninja stuff, right? But this Pokemon is just ridiculous. And that's all I have to say to it. This Pokemon is ridiculous, and Fire Spin is absolutely insane. Obviously, it takes a bit of skill to get used to. You need good positioning from this Pokemon, but it's very strong. Aegislash jungle is also pretty good. It's also pretty good. But I'm gonna put into A tier. I still prefer lane Aegislash, but we know that in North America, jungle Aegislash is super popular. Also, again, there's another Pokemon like Serena, who has a power spike on level 7, Serena on level 6, but Aegislash on level 7, so you want to get to level 7 as fast as possible. So what do? Jungling obviously gets you to level 7 as fast as possible. He also has very good objective secure, right? Like, his Unite move can get objectives super easily without any issues, and that's just what makes him super good. If you're good at it, right? Obviously, of course, it needs some skill. Azumarill jungle is actually surprisingly good as well. I do like it. Played it a bit, and you know, it does do a lot as well. The only problem is it's hard time getting attack rate stacks, but Azumarill jungle honestly feels quite good. Then we have, Sylveon jungle, right? But it's like, yeah, it's okay. It's not like Mystical Fire or Hyper Voice. Again, we don't, like, pro players are not jungling with Sylveon either before someone says, yeah, but pro players are jungling with this Pokemon. They're not jungling with this Pokemon. They take one buff and then go to a lane. So it's quite different. And Espeon, yeah, Espeon doesn't do enough damage to be a jungler, I would say. Just doesn't do enough damage. It can theory jungle as well, you get early power spikes, but it's just not really it. It is just not it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. Let me know what you think as well, as always. I think jungle tier lists can be very hard to debate about, but in general, all these Pokemon are good, right? Like, jungling is overpowered, and you can do good on all these Pokemon. It's just how I, like, think they're power level-wise, but, like, this entire group right here can all carry games without any issues in jungle. That's all I'm gonna say, right? All of these can carry games, and you can be the one deciding factor super easily. So any one of these groups you can pick and just 1v9 games with super easily. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!